The best part of these movies for me is always the flashbacks that they show of Dragon Ball Z in nice new crisp remastered HD with the saturation turned down a little bit in the prologues. Those are great, and I'm a sucker for those. Big elephant in the room would be the 3D animation. It was nauseatingly, revoltingly bad initially for the first 10 minutes, and then I forgot about it. So I don't know why they did it. Doesn't make any sense. Not a great move. 2D is definitely 100% better, but it didn't like ruin the movie so bad that I don't consider it canon or anything like that. But you know, the light shows when, you know, big beam attacks are charging up and people are transforming, and it makes everything dark around them, and the sound and all that, the music, that's great. You know, choir swells up when it needs to. And there's a part where, you know, when Gohan, you know, upgrades to Mystic for a little bit, his blows kind of sound like sword slashes. That was cool. I actually really like the idea that from like an Earthling standpoint who's not in the know, looking at like the Saiyans and the Namekians and everybody, they could just look like the bad guys. They're like, alien invaders, kill them. Or if there's even a 1% chance that they're our enemy, we have to take it as an absolute certainty and build androids to go fight them. That's not what the movie does. That's what the movie... Because, like, the mustache-twirling cigar villain, like, I'm okay with the villain not having any... The true villain, like, behind the curtain being more of a, you know, puppet mastermind, you know, controlling people more powerful than him. I'm okay with that. I don't like that he just lied to Dr. Hero. I would rather that have just been what they all actually genuinely thought and were on board with. Like, we've got to stop these guys. They're going to destroy the Earth. So that would have been, you know, unique and original. And it still kind of was, as opposed to just, you know, another giant alien arriving on Earth and threatening to murder everybody for no reason at all. But, so, at least it was different. It bothered me that he cut his own cigar, though. Cutting it's half the fun, you know. Why you let other people cut your cigars? You let other people wipe your ass, too? That's weird. But as far as the actual combatants on the villain side go, I wasn't a big fan of Gamma 1 and Gamma 2. I just don't think their character designs are all that inspired. I mean, they're alright, I guess, and the show could at least alternate between, like, genuine, true evil villains and, like, people who are quote-unquote decent deep down, but like are operating off of false information or have an actual hatred that have the potential to flip. I mean, I think the show could show that, you know, there's some people that you just need to kill. You just need to put your, you know, palm to his forehead and blow his head away. Not everybody has to have this, you know, moral struggle inside, and not everybody has to be this cartoonish, you know, racist, over-the-top Frieza Hitler. I would appreciate it if the show would, you know, grow up and mature with its audience a little bit. Like, if you watched original Dragon Ball, you're like in your late 40s, if not 50s right now. That aired in, what, the 80s? It's 2022. Like, come on. One thing I think that was a missed opportunity is because, you know, the big villain they fight at the end is Red Cell. I will say, you know, I predicted that, you know, one of the Gammas was going to have to, you know, sacrifice himself so they could deal the killing blow. But what I was not expecting, I guess I just wasn't aware of how quickly the runtime was going. I was expecting that to make Cell self-destruct and flip him into perfect mode, and then Vegeta and Goku have to, you know, arrive and help out or something. But it just kind of ended, so I was caught off guard with how abrupt that was, and just Goku and Vegeta just not being in the movie at all. I'm okay with, honestly. They should have had they should have taken out their scene at the beginning because it made it look like they were going to come back later. You can just have the entire movie focus on Gohan and Pan and Piccolo. That's great. I actually really like that, and I think they've been sidelined for a bit too long, and it's good to see, you know, them again. If you really want to keep doing this, like everybody else has to fight while Goku and Vegeta are, you know, out of the equation for a little bit, you got to come up with a better excuse than they didn't answer the phone. That's pretty lame. But, you know, when Piccolo was undercover and kind of going through the Red Ribbon Army and stuff, I think they had a missed opportunity with, well, again, because I like these Dragon Ball Z flashbacks redone in HD, but instead of having just go like, gasp, you know, show a quick little montage with some really ambient, creepy music of, like, all the heinous deeds that Cell did, just, like, putting lasers through people and blowing everybody up. Just have a montage of his kill count. That would have been cool. Give the audience a tangible reminder of why we're afraid of Cell. That's probably the big disappointment for the movie, is that there's no real, you know, genuine new villain. You have your two, like, genuine heroes, you know, Gamma 1 and Gamma 2, and then you have your mustachy guy who doesn't do much, and then you have Cell Max, who is just a roaring and a soulless body. Not a whole lot there. I really like the dynamic that, you know, Gohan is a terrible father, and Piccolo's trying to make him realize that, and it's like, look, you know, you can send your daughter over to get training with Uncle Piccolo every third weekend or something to learn some cool Namekian techniques or something, but dude, it's your job to raise your daughter. Why am I being her father? You are right here. You are perfectly capable of being a father yourself, and it is to your great shame and disgrace that I have to go pick her up from school. Dude, don't make the same mistake your dad Goku did. I ended up being your father because he was a deadbeat piece of crap. I'm not going to do it again for you. I'm not, for her sake and for yours. Be a father. It's not my job, it's yours. There's a difference between, having, family members and close friends help out every now and then, and just totally abdicating your biblical duty as in the office of father, which is what Gohan does, in the same way that Goku did. But Pan is, great, wonderful, adorable, cute little 3-year-old Saiyan girl, doing Saiyan power stuff. She's great, and the fact that she and Piccolo were kind of undercover and kind of in on the kidnapping was very entertaining. That was the best part of the movie, probably. Going forward, I think some themes that Dragon Ball could play with going forward are, we haven't really seen like a female Saiyan character to the extent as one of the main characters in Universe 7, at least. You have Kefla and Cauliflower Lady in Universe 6. It's not really the same thing, but like just to have Saiyans raise daughters and grow up and see what that looks like, and because it shouldn't look like their sons. It just objectively shouldn't. Women are different than men. Spoiler, I hate to keep bringing this up to you, but I would like to see the Saiyan culture for how their women are different than men. And this doesn't even necessarily have to be how our women are different from our men. That could be a fun thing to explore and show what is Pan's role and purpose, if any, in the kind of, Dragon Ball Z Warrior team, if you will. Also, I would like to see Goku and Vegeta's bond grow and mature a little bit. It's always kind of, Goku is, the constant big goofy guy who, until he's 70 is probably going to have the same attitude, and that's okay. But then if that's the case, you have to use Vegeta as your changing person, as your growing person. They play with that a little bit, that Vegeta's getting more disciplined, that he's able to control his emotions and relax until he actually fights, to kind of learn from Jiren. Even outside of fighting and all that, Goku and Vegeta are the only, as far as they know, the only two remaining, at least until Broly showed up, the only two remaining people from Planet Vegeta. They're the last of a dying warrior race, and the two of them have been through a lot together. With the rivalry on top of everything, they went from, hated villains to rivals to, I would like them to progress from rivals to close friends. Like, is that too much to ask for? Like, they don't have to remain these immature, like, moody, emo people forever. Or Goku's just eating and Vegeta's just, like, grumbling at, Goku being funny, and that's also supposed to be funny on top of it. It's like, no, let the two of them spend some quality time together and grow and mature as middle-aged men. Talk about their wives and kids together or something. I don't know. Am I projecting too much of what the series could maybe be? Are we destined to have a very, like, upper TV PG, lower TV 14, maturity level for the show for all eternity? It doesn't have to be that way. I would also like to see Goku being a father to Gohan and Goten, and Vegeta being a father to Trunks. I would like them to show both of those relationships and see the differences in how they parent. And have Goku be, the very fun, loving, nurturing, dad who fights for fun, and then they go eat and hang out, and then Vegeta be like the dedicated, disciplined, live or die, really, really, really harshly train his son, but still out of love. I would like to see those contrasted for how their personalities reflect to how they parent their kids. We have a lot of franchises that have, like, father-son relationships in, like, superheroes / gods, with like Invincible, God of War, Ragnarok coming out, and Dragon Ball Super. I would like at least one of those three franchises to have the kid be like, I want to be as strong as you one day, Dad, and have the father be like, shame on you. Shame on you for shooting for a goal as low as me. If all you do is fill my shoes, I will be massively disappointed and ashamed of you. Something that Dragon Ball, whether the show realizes it or not, I think has actually done a pretty good job of so far, is it's literally separating the gender roles of men and women. Is that, you have fathers, husbands, and then their young sons growing up, and them being the fighters, the warriors, the protectors, maybe not the providers as much as they should be, but literally defining clear gender roles. Like, in show, Bulma can provide plenty of value in the support role of Capsule Corp science and stuff, and going and getting stuff, and making food for Beerus and all that. So the homemaker, the women need to be the homemaker. We wish we would see a little more of that from Chi-Chi, and that they would pass on that role to their daughters. Women don't fight. At least they don't fight like men do. It is the purpose and duty of the man to put himself between the woman and danger. That's just a universal truth. You can deny it all you want, but there's a reason that in the Majin Buu saga of Dragon Ball Z, that when Videl was getting the snot kicked out of her, that bothered you more than when the same thing happened to Gohan. There's a reason for that. That is an intrinsic, natural, God-given truth about the difference between men and women. And I appreciate any content that knowingly or unknowingly is in alignment with that and recognition of that truth.